GRE optional does not mean GRE irrelevant. I know that is not what most applicants heard when programs dropped a requirement. Stay with me for a few minutes because I'll tell you what actually happened when programs went GRE optional. And it's one of the most understood developments in pre-OT admissions online and among the community. The misunderstanding is quietly hurting applicants who think they're getting a free pass. Because the GRE was never really about the score. It was about what the score provided to committees. And when it disappeared, what it provided did not disappear. Here is what I mean. Programs used it because admissions committee were trying to reduce a specific kind of uncertainty. Uncertainty about academic readiness across different types of programs and communities academically. A 3.8 GPA from a highly rigorous research university and a 3.8 GPA from a less rigorous institution do not represent the same academic preparation. The GRE provided a standardized data point that helped committees calibrate that uncertainty across applicants they could not otherwise compare directly. When programs went GRE optional, that uncertainty did not go away. Committees simply needed to find confidence somewhere else. And here is exactly where they started looking. And why most applicants celebrating GRE optional missed the important part of what changed. Without standardized test scores to anchor academic readiness assessment, committees became significantly more attentive to other evidence. Writing quality became a primary signal, not just is the personal statement grammatically correct. Is the thinking sophisticated? Is the reasoning professional? Does the person communicate at the level of graduate professional training requires? Observation insight became a primary signal, not did you complete just the hours? Tell me, what did you notice? Can you connect what you observed with clinical reasoning? Does your reflection demonstrate the beginning of professional thinking? Application cohesiveness became a primary signal. Does the application hold everything together? Does this story make sense? Are the credentials, the experience, the stated goals, and the communication qualities all pointing in the same direction? The bar did not drop when the GRE became optional. The evidence shifted. And here is the part that most applicants completely missed. That actually changed who became more competitive and who became less competitive after the GRE optional admissions. Before GRE optional admissions, a strong GRE score could compensate for weaker writing, thinner observation reflection. The standardized score provided enough confidence that committees could look past the application weaknesses. After the GRE optional admissions, that compensatory mechanism disappeared. Writing quality, observation insight, and application cohesiveness now carry the full weight of academic readiness signal. With no strong test score to fall back on, weak writing is more disqualifying than it was before. Surface level observation reflection is more disqualifying than it was before. And that application not being held together cohesively is more disqualifying than it was before. So what does that mean practically for how you build your application now? Because this changes the priority over most anything else. The applicants who benefited most from GRE optional admissions were the applicants who were already strong in writing, observation depth, and overall cohesiveness, but whose standardized scores didn't reflect their actual academic ability. For those applicants, Removing a data point that was undercounting them was generally good news. The applicants who were quietly hurt by GRE optional admissions were the ones that had been relying on just strong scores to compensate for thin application quality elsewhere. Without the score, there was nothing to compensate with. Understanding which category you are in is the most important self-assessment you can do right now. If your writing is strong, your observation reflection is deep and specific, and your application tells a coherent professional story, the GRE optional works in your favor. If your writing is generic, your observation descriptions are surface level, or your application is not held cohesively, the absence of a strong score leaves those weaknesses fully exposed. The fix is not to take the GRE. The fix is to address the underlying quality issues that the GRE was previously covering. Your personal statement, your observation descriptions, the overall professional coherence of your application. Those are your GRE replacements. Build them accordingly. If you want to learn more about OT admissions, join us on OT Student Leveled Up in the school community, and it's a complete framework I've built to help students build strong applications. Also, if you want to hang out more, you can join one of my groups. The link for both are in the bio, and good luck on your application.